Let's see if we started here. I think we got it going on. All right. Here we are. Welcome. Good morning. We are day one, episode one into our week. We're starting with a new prop firm, Fund Your Edge, and I thought, why not have new beginnings? We're going to start our own. We've been back and forth between trading and balancing everything, family, and etc. So here we are. We're using volume profile, which is also known as like auction market theory. Is what people might trade it as well as we're going to be using some price action and volume to help solidify some trades. So let's get into it. Let me actually make sure my mic's working. Mic check, yeah, we're good. All right, perfect. There we go. All right. Let's mark out a couple levels here from the overnight session. Actually, I'm going to do that in the 5-minute here. So what I like to look for is, by the way, we caught a nice little trade yesterday. That's why we're up 805 up here. We are looking for the pre-market high and pre-market low. So midnight high, which is 2100 New York midnight. I like putting my non-New York time. I'm on the West Coast. Just helps me for some reason. And then 4:30 up here. So there we go. Perfect. So we have our high and low. We see that we try to get out of range, and then we came right back into range. So we can trade the market both ways right now, and we're just going to keep an eye on where we can find a good entry. I like shorting or going long 2 point of control, and the only areas I see that might be sell areas would be in this area. There we go. Sell area where we don't want to trade is this. It's going to chop around a lot in this area here. So these would be considered areas where I'm not interested in. And then anything up here I'm really not interested in. Yeah. Not interested. Let's see what else we have. We could play off the pre-market high, which is here also. So this is a possibility. If we play for a continuation, this area looks pretty good. And we could short back down here. This is probably going to be our developing point of control. So this area is about, I want to either short here or there. Not here, sorry. There we go. These areas look kind of good for shorting back into that point of control. All right, so those are some key areas up here, right? Red areas would be where I'm not interested in trading. The green is where I am interested in shorting. So short areas if we decide to, but we need to see this point of control flip, which would assume us going down further. Also, let's see here. We got 640 huge reversal here. So boom. We don't get any of these yet. So let's just hang on. I have it at 5 lots. If I'm trading my other strategy, we're going to go 2 lots. I kind of use my other strat to more get my profit targets. I like getting those profit targets at certain price points. Sometimes you don't have a lot of levels, so it's nice to get in. We're going to continue to dump here. I'm trading a strat also that I only spend about 1 minute looking at the charts, and I put my trade in, and that's it. Just I'm trying to trade it for as least amount of time as possible. Ready to get some coffee here in a second, but until then, here we are. Hope you guys are having a good morning. Yeah, we're going to get going here. All right, so I'm going to get rid of these red areas. Those are just for your visuals. And these are areas I'm just showing you where I would probably be interested in going short. These are just key levels to keep in mind. This is our point of control, so this is where the most volume's been traded on this spike right here. But I have a feeling that's going to flip pretty soon. We're pretty close to flipping from the high to this one. Now, possible buyers would be in this area. We see some kind of wicked out locations here. So this is where a buyer has been kind of dredging that up. But if I had to call out where I think a bounce could be, it'd probably be off these buyers here. Yeah, this would be the only one really. That one's got to hang on. If that one goes, it could be this one next. Yeah, whatever. 2 pixels might be better. All right. So we see there's still that buying liquidity here from this previous buyer. So this is the buyer that's propping up the market. Hasn't closed. So this is where they're trying to defend their position. We also see some big selling happening here. This is going to be the selling your sellers up here. All right. Let's see. Highest volume on the day on that 650 candle right here. Yeah, I'm not really interested in getting involved in long or shorts right now. I think long still has a better risk to reward in the short term. But it's risky. I would probably go right here. Then a 50% retracement, or you could play it back up to the sellers. But that would be offer you your best risk reward, but I'm not interested in that. That's not really good quality to me. Yeah, you could probably even play it up 50% up here. Give you a 4-to-1. But I still think this would be key here. Yeah, I put a tight stop on that. 21 points. I'm not going to get involved in that though. Yeah, not going to get involved in that. So we wait. So I think that if I wanted to play a quick trade here, I think we could probably put it in an order right here. We could probably sell 5 right here, and we want to rotate maybe down to we want to play quick tag. We might be able to do a 50% retracement, honestly. 50% is a lot though. Yeah, we could probably roll it down 50%. So the trading idea would be enter here. Our stop would go probably right up here. Probably maybe we'll go 20 points. And then our target would be right at the edge of this. So we get about a 2.7 to 1, which is reasonable. So we're going to see how that happens. We see that this buyer is still hanging on. I don't know if you see that, but this buyer is holding on still. They're still soaking up that liquidity. So we would have got stopped out on that. I'm not interested in that still, but this is actually a lot more interesting. If we broke out below these pre-market lows and then we're closing back up into range here. I'm sorry. We broke below this consolidation range, call it whatever you want. We broke right below it, tried to go lower, and then sellers are trapped. So this is a bear trap, which could be very strong for the upside. But we're going to see how these sellers deal with it over here. This is the beginning of those sellers at 66. I should put these red areas to go short. All right. All right, we're getting a nice big bounce off the NQ here. Now we don't play the pre-market as a zone, but if you did play this pre-market as a zone, like if you wanted to use the pre-market for this specific price action for this specific trap candle, I'm going to show you the target. We're going to see wherever this closes. I'm going to give you the range where this could go to. So we want this. We're going to go a little lower. 77, yeah. Right above the 80s would be pretty good. This need to close inside this range here. If we get to close right above here, this is going to be good for longs. There it is. So I'm not taking it. This is not a part of the strategy, but this is in our daily or normal bear trap pattern. So we could be looking to go rotate up to 122, about a 1.75 risk to reward here. That's based off of the context of this red candle breaking below all of these bodies, trying to go lower, coming back up into range. That's a trap. Hands down, that's a trap. So a lot of bears are trapped in this position. We just need more buyers. We need new buyers willing to take this back up. Now, the reason why I wouldn't get into this is because I don't like taking the pre-market, which you see all this is the pre-market down here, as context. I just don't like it. I've learned that it doesn't work as well. The edge, it loses its edge a bit. But nonetheless, we see that we have almost the highest volume of the day off that. So you could imagine a lot of sellers tried to take this back down and got trapped by this buyer right here, by this guy. You can see how hot he was here. He sucked that back up, had a big reaction, big sell-off, and then scooped up a ton of sellers again. So now we're going to tap into this range. We're going to see if this buyer is still convicted here. Is this buyer still hanging on? Beyond that, if we're looking at our volume profile, this is very messy. This means it could just range anywhere in here. There's no really solid direction. This is just going to be chop. That's what this kind of, if you see chop on a volume profile, there's typically going to be chop in that price action. What we like to look for is these clear, steep angles. That's what we like. Steep angles give us more of a clarity in the market. So that's what we want to do. Now we wait. So you see that buyer's still scooping up sellers here. How big is this buyer? We don't know. That's an issue. We know these sellers are real and these sellers are heavy, but there's only going to be so much more of these sellers before they're going to be trapped fully. So it's either they take it or they're going to be trapped. And it looks like this buyer's just hot and bothered. Yeah, so I'm excited. Week 1, episode 1. Oh, we're going to be doing regular content on our main channel, The Cafe Trader, and The Cafe Trader Lives. We got on our point of control is flipped. I don't know if you saw that either. So this insinuates we could possibly be going lower if this continues to get real steep. Right now, this could just be a rotation back up to this area, which is about where I have it marked on this. Possible long right here. Oh, right there. So you hit it to the tick. Buyers are active right in that area based off the shape of this volume profile here. And then you would probably play it up to the top of this. I don't like it because we're pretty steep off this range. I'm looking for a little bit better setup. Our stop would be somewhere around there. Target probably up here. So we have two targets. I'm looking for this short here. I'm looking for the short down. But this is also a possible play. Could have been played off this long based off the shape on the volume profile, based off this buyer here. It's multiple confluences there. Yeah, let's see what happens. Again, why I am not in that long is because I don't like how heavy this selling is, and I don't trust this buyer. Even though I know he's here, I'm not convinced that he's strong enough yet for me to want to participate long. So we would have got stopped out on that, but a nice small loss, 14 points. That's how you manage your risk there for a possible 70 gain. It's still really solid. So we'll click out of that one. My order's up here for the short, but the market's continuing to go lower. Broke new lows right there on that candle. A quick little peep at the 15-minute here. Oh, that was the 10-minute. To be honest with you, this is not pretty. None of it's really pretty. Let's say this is a big liquidity range for the 15-minute. So we might find some buyers up at the 706 based off these buyers here. All right, back to the 5. Continuing to go lower. I don't really like to get into shorts with the auction market theory. We could look at previous days' data, but for auction market theory, I just like to trade into point of control. It's just easy and simple and straightforward. So this is starting to look a little messy over here. I'm going to get rid of some of these shapes, that buyer is probably going to get taken on this candle. Actually, let's just keep it up for your visuals. There we go. So this buyer here, we would assume is still there until the time completely runs out and this candle completely breaks through. And if this buyer gets taken, we could be a lot more confident in our shorts for the day. Two minutes left in that candle. On the 5 minute. And then this would have got stopped too. That's why we didn't get in. Just ideas. We'll get rid of this as well. Clean up our charts. So, for a quick explanation, hedge funds use algorithms to get into long or short positions. They have a lot of liquidity that they need to move. It's not a couple orders, 20, 30 lots. They're moving hundreds of lots at a time, sometimes thousands of lots at a time. So they have to be able to, if they were to put limit orders up, people would see them and we just front run them. We just play into them. So they need liquidity. They need liquidity to be able to fill these positions. Well, this is an area right here where they will wait. And as the orders are coming down, they're trickling down, they're starting to fill their orders up. But they don't want to fill it too much. If they get too aggressive, sellers will be afraid to sell into them. So what do? Well, they let them kind of shove back into the liquidity, maybe get some more confidence. Then they fill a lot more orders with their algorithms. It's kind of like they're trying to open the throttle a little bit more as sell orders are coming in heavier. They can open the throttle on their buy. And then if the sellers start to wane off, they kind of back off the throttle a little bit and let the sellers kind of feel more convicted again. And then boom, they just open the throttle again on those buy orders. So, but we see that this buyer has been tapped. So whoever this buyer was, they've been satisfied. We're assuming they've been satisfied, this one specifically. And as far as down here, we don't really have, I mean, you can maybe consider this guy as a buyer, but I don't consider him as a buyer. If we bounce off this dude, that's ridiculous. This guy right here. Actually, this guy right here. But yeah. If we bounce off this guy, I would really be interested in the short up here at around the 80s. So we're going to get rid of this as well. Back up to point of control. We're going to have a slump here. We're going to try and catch a short off the shoulder. Might even go close to an 80. I'm just going to try and front run it a little bit. So yeah, that idea would be giving ourselves just a skosh of room here, maybe 18 points, and then we're going to try and get back to point of control now. So about a 4 to 1 risk to reward ratio. I think we'd be in good shape. I think this would be a good trade. Might need coffee though if we're going to get there. So we're trading with Fund Your Edge. New prop firm starting next week. And that's when we're going to be starting our accounts as well. They've been kind enough and generous enough to let me use their platform before then. We're checking it out, which I'm really, really digging TradeC. This is very nice. TradeC is the platform that Fund Your Edge is using to channel. So it's really nice. I'm excited. We need volume to tick up. Let's have a little look at volume here. So we have 20K and 47K. So 23.5K is the halfway point. We're at 22 point. Let's see, 23. And once we get to 2 minutes and 30 seconds, we'll know where we're at. 23.5. Yep, we got there. So this buyer is still here. Sellers are still aggressive. But now this has got, we're on track to beat the volume on this candle here. If we do that, if we beat that volume here, that's going to be considered a new buyer. A new buyer's pushing their way in the market. I'm sorry, a new seller. I apologize. A new seller is trying to take a position here. So we could technically short that. And I don't see too many buyers until down here, so I don't think it would be a bad short, in my opinion. I think if they take out this buyer, too short, I think we can go probably 3 lots. Let me see how much it would be. 70 points. We could do 3 lots, but if I was doing a real count, I'd probably do 2 lots, to be honest. So let's see what we got here. We have about 1:30 left. I want to see this candle close red. The more red, the better. I would like to see it close below the green and in the red. That would be very positive. So if it closed below the green, I would feel more confident going a little heavier. If it closes in the green or around the green, I'd still go, but I'd probably do 2 lots, and that would probably be it. 1 minute left, possible little double take here, double bottom. We need to break through this for us to reverse back up. Sellers are still coming in pretty heavy. You can see that shoulder starting to curve off really strong here. All right, 30 seconds. Switch us to 3 lots here. 20 seconds left in the candle. I want to see a red close. Ooh, all right. We're going to go 3 lots on that. So take profit is going to be $12.25, and then our stop loss is going to be just a few points above there. All right, so we're in for 3 lots, looking for that target. Nice 1-to-1 here. And the idea is these aggressive sellers, we pretty much burn through this buyer here, and we're assuming we're going to look to take lower. And in all honesty, I do think that we could probably get down to the 70s at least, now that we've taken out a couple buyers. Let me see where this 50 fib is. The 50 fib is roughly right here in this area up here, so that's why we were getting a little bit of that buyer taking up too. Almost getting our price target here. Very close. Now, if I was trading live, I probably would have taken that. We barely got wicked here. 2-tick wicked. But we'll hold on for the sake of this. I don't even think that's a 2 ticks. I think that's literally 1 tick. There we go. Got the trade off there. Perfect. So there's your short for the morning. 3 lots, a few hundred. I think we got, what was that? That was roughly 48 points. Small take, 1-to-1, reliable. This is going to about I would say probably about I think it's a 65 to 70% win rate on the just price action. The reason why I don't know is because I use it in a combination of a system. um, which the system also utilizes like 1.75 to 2 to 1s. So that accumulatively is only like 45% win rate, but our profit factor is about 1.7. So, sorry, our profit factor is 1.3. Our risk to reward is roughly about 1.5. So that's why I'm not positive about, I should be positive about how much that specific is. That's a good thing to actually backtest in general, which we will be doing a lot of. So we hit our first trade for the day. Nice little winner there. Yeah. I'm going to take a quick pause. We're going to come right back. If you guys haven't checked out Fund Your Edge yet, new prop firm starting up, go check them out. Great people. I had the pleasure of talking with them a little bit. Look forward to partnering up with a good prop firm. All right, give me 1 second here. I'm just going to clap this real quick. All right. Look at this. Rotating off the bottom. Got our cup of Joe. By the way, the Starbucks cup is so sick, dude. Let me see the collab. Who's the collab? Mike Wilcox, dude. These are sick. These are sick. All right, looks like we rotated back up to point of control, which that is just fine. That is just dandy. When I have a little bit of range, which gives me more confidence now to put in an order down here as well. So we're going to also put in, I want to let me do 3. That's weird. I'll do 5. All right, we're going to put in an order right down here, probably right here. Play that back up into point of control. Yeah, might get a little bit of a short here off point of control and as a continuation. I'm not interested in that. And then price action is showing us that, we're just going to stay in this pocket. Again, we took this trade right here. Looking pretty solid. Looking pretty solid. So, back up to point of control. I want to see it chop through this. Where are we at here? I want to see it come back up, chop through this, touch, come back down. That's very ugly, by the way. Sorry, I'm not an artist here. Oops. Touch up here, come back down to point of control. That's what we're looking for. All right. So we got about another, what time is it? 7:30. We're probably going to be doing the charts for about another 30 minutes. There's really no point, in my opinion, once you have a couple levels. You don't have to watch the charts all day. It taxes your mental capital. You really got to preserve your mental capital when you're trading the markets. So staring at trades all day, even being in your trade and holding it, watching it, it doesn't really do anything for you. You can't get out of the trade early anyways. You should be confident enough to put the order in. Your brackets are set. I think we have auto brackets here. Oh, we don't have auto brackets. Well, I have auto brackets on before. I need to figure out how to do that on here, actually. Shouldn't be that bad, though. Let me see here. We'll figure brackets out in a minute. Thought I put brackets on, though. We'll figure that out. I'm going to comb through this here pretty soon. Yeah. What if it's here somewhere? Yeah, we need to get brackets. All right. Rolling up a little bit. This is where it's going to get choppy. I feel like we're going to be wicking a lot through here. This isn't a real buyer yet. This is a passive buyer. This is buying that happened from this area over here. So this is not a new buyer yet. I'm going to be looking for the short here. Right up into this area, it's about 78.50. I probably should go a little lower. To be honest with you, I'd be fine. Even here is decent. But I'm going to be a bit picky. Be right. It's trying to run out of touch. Yeah, right there. That should be fine. So like I said, this is going to be very choppy. See how we went up through this area and immediately just shoved down a bit? That's just the nature of this type of price action. Like when it's all fuzzy like that, when it just looks fuzzy, it's not a good sign. You don't want to be caught long or short in this zone here. This is like a messy zone. Now, if you're holding more macro, it's different, of course, but say if you do try and scalp in this area, you'll get stopped out often, both ways. Oh. back to point of control. Got a little bit of a possible trap set up here, a bull trap. So we broke above that, tried to go higher, came back down. If we go below this line here, below this line right here, if we close below it in 2 minutes, this would actually be a good case for a short. And I'll get into that short. A little bit conflicting though, right? Because we have nice buy areas, we have nice sell areas. I still trust the sell a lot more than the buy. But we'll see. I'll probably play into that shoulder. What we don't want to see is it come too low and close below here. Because we want the bulls to be trapped near their entry so that we have a lot more meat on the bone. If we don't, if it falls all the way through here, there's not enough meat on the bone here. We kind of want to see those bulls trapped initially. So let's see how we land here. We still don't have a real buyer on the market yet. We haven't had one real buyer still, like a new aggressed position buyer. Not yet. Not yet. 1 minute left on that candle on that 5 minute. A little bit of a rotation here. Like I said, the meat, we're starting to lose our juice here. I don't need to see the down. Where'd my charts go? I'm still learning this platform a decent amount. Oh, it's down here. Yeah, I don't like the scalp. Well, the scalp's fine, I think. Actually, scalp might be okay. $11 seconds left. This would be according to my other strat, my 5 minute strat. 2, 1, we're going to take that short. So for this, I'm probably just going to play it into, let's see here. So it's saying it wants to shove down here, 1.75. I think I'm just going to play right into where I like that long. And then our stop will be just a few points above that. Yeah. There we go. It's roughly does it say 1.75? No. This is roughly a 1-to-1. In for 3 contracts. I should probably do 2 just because I'm not as convinced. Yeah, but this is all going to be slop. To be honest with you, I should put my stop at least above this area here, but I'm going to stick to that, to the initial strategy we got. Stick to my initial entry. If I go any higher, then it's not even worth it. So this is the slop zone. I'm going to get rid of the slop zone, but you can visualize it now. This is our supposed trade. This is the trade we want to hit. We're hoping we can hit. Yeah. Somewhere in that area. And then we're in a trade. We're in a short right now. See if we can rotate back down to the 940s. Trying to hold that 29,000. The U.S. is pumping money. Government's just pumping money right now. Stay above 29K. Trump's going to come out and say how great the economy is all of a sudden. All right, so what's the idea? The idea is buyers tried to take this up. This is not a real buyer yet. They got trapped. Sellers came in. We're looking for a continuation down here. Sorry, when I say continuation, not like a continuation on trend. We're looking for a rotation down to the lows. Whoever this is, they're hanging on now. This is Slop City, baby. So a lot of that chop that was here got cleaned up a little bit. Excuse me. Got cleaned up a little bit. So there's a little bit more definition, but I want to see more definition. These, like, when these spikes are kind of lean, where's my drawing tool? Where are you? There we are. When they're kind of lean like this, like kind of pointy, usually just stays pinned for the most part and goes out, like it'll chop around this area here, as it's doing, as you can see. When we're a little bit more steep, if we had more of a steep rounder angle like that, or like that, then we can play off areas a little bit better. I think they call them like C-shaped, D-shapes, but yeah, just for visuals. All right, let's see if we can get our touch and then maybe our bifill as well. Be patient, Daniel-san. Patience. Yeah, also a little bit of chop zone right here. It's going to be a bit choppy. All right, we're going to stream for about another probably 15, 20. If I do leave, I'm going to remove this order. I'm going to basically get out of this order. We could stay in it, actually. I'll just let those orders ride after I get brackets set up. Let me see where are brackets at. I should probably not be searching the depths of this system to get that going. Let me see here. This might be a good question for chat, dude. Okay, here we go. We're gonna go by points. We're not gonna trail. What is this? There we go. If they already exist, then where are they? How do I find them? Kids are going to be up soon, or I should say my son's going to be up soon. We're going to have some work to do. We're going to film our content, going to work today. It's going to be pretty dope. You're going to see me cut some hair. I'm bald, man. Can you imagine? Can you imagine the discrimination I get against me being bald in a barber? It's unbelievable. Not a real seller. So we got no real buyers, no real sellers. Our real seller is this one up here. And our buyer's down here. We're just ranging between these two areas. So remember what I said about chop in these areas. This is what we're getting. We're just getting chop back up to point of control. I don't like the thinness, but it might thicken up. This smaller dojis each time could like reverse big. It could get very scary. Bring on the chop, baby. Bring on the chop. About another 18 minutes, and I'm popping off. We're going to be trying to stream Monday through Friday about 6:45, 7 o'clock to 8 o'clock. I'm really going to try and get the whole centrifugal theme is being able to trade while having a life. Not everyone even has an hour to commit in the mornings. So we're going to be looking to try and get you to just look at the charts for maybe 5 minutes in the morning, be able to make a conscientious decision of buy, sell, and or don't participate, and then move on with your day. Starting to get a little bit more ramped up here on the shorts. Let's see if I can get a profit target here. Now for down here, our position for our next order, because that's going to fill. If it fills, we're just going to play back up to point of control. We're going to take a tight stop, maybe like right there. That's going to be our stop, 17 points. So if it taps us, we're going to play up 50, and that'll put a 3.26. So that's our next one. This is our other limit order when I get off as well. So like I said, the chop zone. Right here, we're right in it. Chop zone. So this chop back up and down. It's going to drive us crazy. This is what will tax your mental capital, hands down. Getting caught in this chop, almost taking your order. So just patience. As when you know what's going on, it's a little bit easier. If you know it's going to chop around a little bit, if you can anticipate that, then it's easier because you're like, well, I know in this zone is this going to be going a lot of back and forth. So I'm not going to be as emotionally invested. So there's our take profit. There's our fill. And we need to put a stop loss in down here. There's our stop loss. And we're going to be looking to ride back up to point of control here. There's a quick order there. Quick order. So we'll see if we hold on. I'm not interested if it goes any lower than that. This is our little pitch here right off the shoulder. I like the shoulder. We'll see if we can get back up to point of control. If not, we're taking a pretty small risk. That was our initial drop, so I'm actually going to shorten that up just a little bit right here. We're going to go right here, 160. Keep it tight. Keep it tight, baby. I'm not interested. Get a little bit of a bounce here. We want to see it rotate back at the point of control. That's getting a little better. Picking up. Chop zone. I wouldn't be surprised if it shoves back down again. It's a nice confidence candle there. All right, good chop down again. We're prepared for it emotionally. There it is. We're taking that off. That's how you do it, dude. That's how you do it. Still interested in the short. I'm not going to be able to manage it. Got to figure out how to put on brackets. But just as a reminder that 70s, I'm going to see if we hit this a little later today, back to point of control. But I don't mind these 70s. So there we are. We hit a perfect entry here. 3-1, 4-1 risk. Killer. Doesn't get better than that. All right. I think that's it for me. Yeah. I think that's it for me. I hope you guys have a good day. And this is episode 1, a great episode 1. We're going to be doing some back testing probably this morning. And yeah, looking forward to it. All right. Catch us Monday through Friday. Probably 7 to 8. You really don't need more time than that. 6:45, 6:40. 6:40, we'll talk about a little prep. I don't like really getting into a trade until 7:15. My link, if you want to hook up with this great new prop firm, Fund Your Edge. Great people behind this prop firm. So we're looking forward to working with them in the future.